Hello ladies and gentlemen and gentle ladies, I'm your lovely host miarothwell and you are watching or listening to the Fly Girls podcast. Please be warned, this is a dusty free zone. Any dustiness will not be tolerated. Therefore buckle up your seatbelts, keep your standards high, and let's get straight into this episode. So today's episode is all about what type of dusty friends you should cut off with immediate effect. And I'm going to get straight into the podcast by saying freeloaders. Freeloaders, for anyone who doesn't know what a freeloader is someone who just relies on other people to pay their way, borrows money, never gives it back, etc, etc. Now I'm not saying there's anything wrong with freeloaders, I'm just saying you cannot have your whole friendship group as freeloaders and you're the bank account, you're the driver, the concierge company, the halfway house. And I know it's hard, guys, because of the guilt. I used to be that person who was the driver, the halfway house, the concierge, the bank, the etc, etc. Nope. And Mel Robbins also says this in her book, in the Let Them Theory. It's linked in my TikTok showcase. I'll link my TikTok down below if you want to check that out. You bailing people out all the time is not helping them. They will never be able to stand on their 2 feet. There are exceptions to the rules before the dusties want to come in, as they usually do. Obviously, your parents, if they're retired, absolutely yes, take care of them. That's common sense. People in your life who you're willing to take care of, who's your family, yeah, that's your family. You cannot pick and choose your family. But a lot of people, they have very poor money management and they will always rely on others. So basically, you're their backup plan. They know they can always lean on you. Whereas if someone knows they don't have any other choice, maybe they'll learn to be good with money. Maybe they'll force themselves. You're talking from experience, guys. When I was a university student, I had to manage with what I had. I got the full maximum loan from the government to go to university, like 11.5 grand sterling, British pound sterling, which, by the way, to live in London on 11.5 grand is not, it's like nothing. It doesn't really take you anywhere. And even half a decade ago when I was living in London, I don't know, I couldn't tell you anywhere that's 11.5k rent a year, near my university anyway. But I had to manage. I got 2 jobs, I was waitressing, I was working on Oxford Street in a shoe shop. I made it work. If I had to eat noodles, I'd eat noodles. I was always cooking. If I had to eat pasta, I'd eat pasta. And obviously now, praise be to God, alhamdulillah, I'm in a very fortunate position where I do have good money management skills. And I honestly think if it wasn't for me living in London as a university student, working 2 jobs, I wouldn't. Because I wouldn't have that, I wouldn't have these memories of how hard it was, of how much my feet was hurting, of how exhausted I was. Guys, I was literally falling asleep in my university lectures because obviously I was going to the gym and swimming as well. I was falling asleep with my head in my arms in my university lectures. It's not for the weak, but I honestly think everyone needs to go through this survival mode, not survival mode necessarily, but everyone needs to go through this phase in their life of managing money, because that is the building block. Well, I mean, some people, they're never good at managing money, but that's not your problem and that's not your prerogative. If people are not good at managing money, you cannot be the piggy bank forever. And I always used to think, I remember I had a friend once, I'm not friends with them anymore. Like, no bad blood, I'm just, we just don't talk anymore, but I had a friend once, she needed to go to hospital abroad, and she had broken ribs from the jet ski. So I'd take her to the hospital. She couldn't even afford the prescription, the medicine, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with not affording the medicine. So not only did I have to put her in a taxi, pay a taxi to take her there and back, I had to pay for her prescription. She's like, I'll pay you back, I'll pay you back. By the way, this is a common trait of freeloaders. I'll pay you back, and you never get paid back. So if you're the kind of person like me who's very generous, who's very, you know, empathetic towards people's situations, don't feel any type of way. Don't give anything that you're going to be angry if you don't get back. So basically give what you're not bothered about getting back, because I'm telling you, you're not getting that money back. If you do, great. 9 times out of 10 you won't. And it's really unfortunate that some people just don't have any home training, don't have any manners, you know. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, darling. So freeloaders. Another thing is energy vampires. I've addressed energy vampires a lot in previous episodes. Energy vampires could be people who, they always have something going on in their life. They're always the damsel in distress. They always have rotten things happen to them. Perhaps they don't even ask you how you are. They just ring you, or when you meet. Trauma dumping, unsolicited trauma dumping, and another shot of unsolicited trauma dumping. and another shot of negativity with a sprinkle of dust. Like, people who are energy vampires will take your energy emotionally, mentally, perhaps even financially if they're also a freeloader. You're going to even dread being around them. You're not even going to want to be around them. I don't think any of us should have people in our life who are just energy vampires and drain your energy. I'll hold my hands up and say I have had friends who are absolute energy vampires, and I can tell you for free, I'm not doing it again, because, like, I will do a slight disclaimer, guys. Some people are not physically in a space where they can even, comprehend how draining they are. And a lot of these people, they're not even if you have a conversation with them, they don't have any self-awareness, any accountability, any emotional intelligence. So it's like teaching a fish how to climb a tree. If you want to communicate your boundaries, feel free. Me personally, I'm a big fan of distancing myself and removing myself from the equation, because, guys, as I've said on TikTok Live before, I'm a retired crash out, and I cannot sit and listen to the same story, especially about Dusties. Guys, I'm a girl's girl and I'm a very kind-hearted person. If I keep hearing the same thing again and again, I've given you the same advice again and again, it gets to a point where it's like, what's not clicking? What's not clicking? And it also gets to a point where me talking is not enough. You need cognitive behaviour therapy. You need cognitive behaviour therapy, and you need to heal. That leads me to my next point of dusty friends you should cut off or distance yourself from. Male-centred friends. Male-centred friends, or if you're a boy watching this, pum-pum festivity obsessed boys, I don't know. What is this I'm seeing on TikTok and other podcasts about taking one for the team? For anyone who doesn't know what taking one for the team is, it's basically when, say you're with a group of friends and someone comes up to you and likes the look of one of your friends. The rest of their group is rotten and you wouldn't touch them with barge poles, and the other friends in your group want you to take one for the team and just get with one of the guys in the group. You're no one's wife for the night. Yeah. And you are not a lady of the night. That is lady of the night behaviour. If they want a lady of the night, tell them to go to ladyofthenight.com, because there's no way. Yeah, have some self-respect and go and collect your dignity and hit the road, Jack. I tell these dusties to hit the road, Jack, yeah? Please, if you haven't already, if this is the first time you're watching or listening to me, go and listen to my other episodes where I talk about how to be a BITCH with boundaries. Literally, I'll put my podcast playlist at the end screen here. If you need to fall asleep to my podcast, if you need to come on my TikTok lives, and I will drill it into your brain and drill it into your short-term memory, your long-term memory, your amygdala, your prefrontal cortex. Get it into your head. Lay down the law. Your boundaries. Anyone who wants to cross your boundaries, hasta la vista, hit the road, Jack. And I know it's scary in the beginning, I know it's scary to say no, but how can you truly be your authentic self and live your life when you're compromising your boundaries? Because I'm telling you for free, these dusty people who I'm talking about in this podcast, they wouldn't do the same for you. They wouldn't compromise their boundaries for you. They wouldn't take one for the team for you. All these pom-pom festivity obsessed boys, if you're a boy watching this, these guys are going to be broke forever. They're going to be dusty forever. Can I tell you that? Can I just tell you that? Yeah. Focus on you. Don't listen to the background noise, the backup dancers. Come on, bro. No. You have your 2020 vision, what you want in life. Write down on a piece of paper what you want in life. And every day, take 1%. Take even 0.0002% every day towards that. And don't let any of these dusties get in the way. Cut them off. Take your pair of scissors and cut them off. These dusty people will only bring you down. One of my friends saw an Instagram caption yesterday. People only bring you down if they think you're above them. So I guess you're above them. So hasta la vista, darling. And when I say above them, I don't mean like in a snooty way, in a stuck-up way. But yeah, mentally, emotionally, you're, screwed on. And I used to think it's an age thing. It's really not. Trust me. That no amount of years on this planet can teach you common sense. Let the dusties be dusty. Remove yourself from the equation. Cut them off. And if you don't feel comfortable cutting them off, distance yourself. Have an excuse. Stay busy. Which leads me to my next point of who you should cut off. People who hold you hostage. Guys, I was on TikTok Live yesterday. If you want to follow me on TikTok or join the Dusty Bustin or Book Club Lives, the link will be down below, guys. Don't let people hold you hostage, guys. You know these dusty people who you're out and you want to go home. No, please stay, please stay. They won't let you go. Do what I used to do. Dutch goodbye. What is it called? A Dutch exit. And go. Trust me, if people are drunk, they're not going to remember anyway. If they do, cool. You're not going to sit and wait for people forever. You know what I've done before? When my old friends, who I've mostly cut off now, I don't go clubbing, guys, don't drink alcohol. Tell me why I got dragged by the skin of my teeth to a club in Dubai. I wasn't enjoying it. So I said, I'm going to the toilet. I went to the toilet, booked the taxi, because I didn't have my car at the time. So booked the Uber. I'm going to the toilet. Guess what? I evacuated the premises. I left the premises. I went home. I went home to my bonnet and had a lovely, comfortable night's sleep. If you know you don't like drinking and clubbing, why are you forcing yourself to go? That's one boundary I have. And your friends, if they're your friends, should respect it. I honestly just think people who do not have any respect for you, they do not deserve an explanation. So you're commanding respect from me when you've disrespected my boundaries and you've taken the piss time and time again. I think not, darling. And trust me, people will respect you more. And if they don't, they're not your true friends. Hit the road, Jack. Hasta la vista, darling. Yeah. Exit stage left, darling. How about that? It comes to a point in life where you have to be selfish. No one else is going to take the reins. You are in control of your life. Take life by its reins and don't let the dusties contaminate your life. People will take the piss because you allow them. If you keep allowing nonsense, all people will give you is nonsense. In all fairness, you didn't lay down the law. They didn't know that you don't tolerate nonsense because you didn't lay down the law. This is why you have to be firm and say no. And it's not being rude. It's your life and it's your boundaries. Another point I'd like to say is you must be selfish. I know it's really hard, especially, I don't know if it's the same for boys. I cannot speak on behalf of the male species, but a lot of you are probably mothers or sisters or daughters. We're naturally very kind. We're naturally very hospitable. Well, I can't speak for everyone, but when you're raised a certain way, you're raised to treat people with respect and kindness. You have to remember not everyone was raised with those same morals and principles. So yes, people are going to be cheeky and audacious because that's all they know. Some people just got no manners, you know, no home training. Let them. Like Mel Robbins says in her book, let them, and then let me say hasta la vista, darling. Yeah, hit the road, Jack. At the end of the day, this is your life. And if you keep giving to freeloaders, energy vampires, male-centered friends, these dusty people, you're never going to get anywhere in life. You're going to find yourself in the same circles. And if you have any people in mind in your life right now who you think you should properly distance yourself or cut off, I want you to do that. I want you to cut them off or distance yourself by the end of this video. And if you're wondering how to distance yourself, you're busy. Guys, my notifications are off. If anyone wants me, they have to ring me. Even then, if I'm getting too overwhelmed and bothered, aeroplane mode, D&D mode. Especially if you do not have children, yeah, if you do not have any poorly family relatives or pregnant friends, which I don't at the minute, as far as I'm aware. If anyone really needs you in an emergency, they're going to ring you. No, that's my thought process. Anyone in my life who really wants to contact me, they can ring me. Yeah, I'm not sitting all day on Snapchat. I'm not sitting all day looking to see who's messaging on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Sorry. If you don't already know your boundaries, I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. If you don't know yet, it's okay. Just write down what you don't like, perhaps even the people who you want to distance yourself from. Take immediate action. By the way, give yourself grace. Everything I say in this podcast, guys, do you think I'm perfect? I'm not. This holiday, I've compromised on a lot of my boundaries, actually. And even my sister said to me, because my sister's with me, Minna, she said to me, Maya, you should have just said no. One of my friends, it was their birthday. They're the kind of person who asks multiple times, time and time again. Even when you say no, they ask time and time again. And it wasn't a big deal. It's about like driving and stuff. But guys, it's actually kind of draining being the driver all the time. It's actually kind of draining being the friend that everyone leans on all the time. And then you don't have anyone to lean on. And I'm sorry, that's not a friendship. If you're the kind of person who everyone leans on, taxi driver, but in your times of struggle or in your times of, you know, sadness, down times, which is normal, by the way, we're humans. We go through highs and lows. And you find that it's not reciprocated, like you don't have anyone's shoulder to cry on, they're not your true friends, darling. I know it's hard. I'm also not someone who talks about I don't really like talking about my problems. I don't really like it. Maybe once or twice to a really close friend like Zahra or Minna or my mum, but I'm not one of it doesn't make me feel better, you know, talking again about the same thing. You know, I'd rather just write it down on a piece of paper or journal or pray. Stressing about situations doesn't make anything better. And I feel like the more you give lip service to stressful situations and dilemmas. It just takes up too much headspace. And I just don't think any dust deserves to clutter your brain, whether that's people, situations. That is one thing I will say. Yes, I'm telling you this advice, and absolutely I've got very good boundaries and I'm very good at saying no. However, have I fallen back sometimes? Has there been times where I should have been more firm when I haven't been? Absolutely. It's normal. It's absolutely normal. Learn from it. Take the lesson and learn. Perhaps sometimes you will be tested, not once but twice but thrice, and it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes we forget. Get your pen and paper, or if you're on your phone now, write your notes out, write things down, document things, because then if you do forget, you can always look back. If you forget why you distanced yourself from someone, you can look back. They was draining your energy and constant negativity. Another kind of person or people I'm going to tell you to stay away from is negativity, pessimistic people, glass is always half empty kind of people. Oh, goodness gracious, honestly, I cannot be around negativity. It really, I don't know why, guys. I don't know if it's when I turned 24, 25, my prefrontal cortex developed. I'm just so sensitive to like negativity. I cannot, guys. I cannot be around it. And people always tell me how positive I am. I don't think I'm that positive. I think I'm just normal. Is it not the, normal thing to look on the bright side of life? I don't know. Honestly, I think some people bask in it. I think some people enjoy the drama. And I think some people like being the centre of attention, in all honesty. If you're a negative person watching this, you can change. Practice gratitude. Every day, think of 3 things you're grateful for. And just try to look for the good in every outcome. I know it's easier than done. Life has a funny way of teaching you lessons, and you just have to take it as it comes, I'm going to tell you to stay away from stingy people. Stinginess is a disease. I really hope it's not contagious. I have witnessed with old friends that it has been contagious because their parents taught them to be stingy. They're stingy. Their partners are stingy. Now they're going to teach the next generation to be stingy. Guys, friend who says cost of living crisis. I know. I'm sorry, this is a very British thing. Complaining about the weather. Complaining about the price of cheese. Complaining about the price of petrol and diesel. Complaining about inflation. Complaining that Freddos used to be 1p, now they're £1 or something. I don't know. Can I tell you something? Inflation has always existed and it's going to continue to exist. The price of cheese is always going to go up and the price of Freddos is always going to go up. So if you don't like it, do something about it. These people, they never do anything about it. Complaining, they never do anything about it. They hate the job, never do anything about it. Never leave. They hate the partner, never do anything about it. What do you want me to do with this dusty information? What do you want me to do? Confused.com. But as for the stinginess and the stingy people, do something about it. Email Parliament and ask them to lower the price of cheese. Go get a cow, and live off the land and make your own cheese manually, the old-fashioned way. Because this complaining and the stinginess, being stingy, complaining, and being pessimistic is not going to reduce the price of cheese. It's not going to reduce the price of Freddos, and it's not going to stop inflation, I'm afraid. So I'm afraid these stingy people, I don't think they'll ever change their ways. So if you're not a stingy person, do not congregate with the stingy people. I also find it embarrassing. I'm not arguing over £2-3. I know people say, oh, well, that's how people stay rich, by being stingy. No, guys. I know people who are not stingy who are very well off. You don't have to starve yourself and suffer in life to save money. I'm going to wrap this up. As always, you know the drill, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave a review if you're listening on any of the audio platforms. But yeah, that's it, guys. I love you all so much. Have an amazing, lovely day. Stay away from the dusties. Dust settles and queens don't. And that's it, guys. I love you all so much. Assalamu, adios, ciao. Bye.